guys, welcome back to Millennial Money Honey. It's Katie here, and today we are diving into my 2021 numbers, seeing everything I spent, saved, and earned for last year. If you watch my goals video for this year, you will know that it is the year of wellness. And in regards to finances, I am really trying to hone in on how to have this better, healthier relationship with money, minimize spending guilt. I think I've really swung the gamut from being really lavish with my spending when I didn't have as much money to finding fire and being super ultra frugal and not wanting to spend money in the hopes of reaching financial independence as fast as possible. I think there's a balance to be had, and I'm not perfect. I'm still trying to find that. And really my financial goal for the year is less focused on like, this is how much my income is and spending, oh, I spent so much. Like, it's having a healthier relationship with all of that, because right now I'm like on the extremes and I just cannot continue this way. I'm excited to take a look back at all my money and really dive into how I can move forward into 2022 with ideas or improvements to get myself in this better, happier, healthier relationship with spending money. I'm so excited to continue to share with you my journey to financial independence and early retirement. If you guys are new here, FIRE stands for Financial Independence Retire Early, and it is a movement to become work optional, to have enough money saved and invested so that you never have to work for money ever again. I am sharing transparently my numbers, my money, my journey to FIRE as I'm learning and growing, and hoping that people just become more aware that retirement isn't the year you turn 65. That is not retirement. It is a number in your bank account. If you guys are interested in following along on my journey or starting yourself, be sure to subscribe to Millennial Money Honey, hit the notification bell, like this video so we hack this YouTube algorithm and get more people interested in the concept of FIRE. So with that being said, let's talk money, honey. Okay, so jumping right into it, I am kind of going to recap my year like my monthly money videos. If you haven't seen those, be sure to check that out. I have all of my previous months, the month-by-month breakdown for the entire year of 2021, and this is a very similar style. So if you haven't seen those, be sure to check them out. If you are new here, just as an FYI, I'm living at home with my parents. So right now I'm very fortunate and blessed to not be paying rent or utilities as I reach my journey to financial independence. Obviously, I'm very happy to be spending time with them. Eventually, obviously, I will have to leave the nest. But in the meantime, this is really helping me with a lot of my savings goals. So thanks, Mom and Dad. So now that we have that out of the way, let's jump into my 2021 income totals. For my paycheck, I earned $87,539. I do a mix of pre and post-tax income when I talk about this paycheck, because the money I contribute to my work 401k, I'll actually be able to use that in retirement using a Roth conversion ladder. I can access my 401k money before 65. So if you guys are like confused about that, just please Google YouTube a video on Roth conversion ladder so you can understand how that works. But I will that's a whole video in and of itself, which maybe I will do this year if you guys want to see that. But because of that, I have this like weird mix of pre and post taxes. So $87,539 for my paycheck. In resale, I resold $1,213. That includes everything from Poshmark, Mercari, and Facebook Marketplace. I love to go thrifting. So if you guys follow me on Instagram at Millennial Money Honey, you'll see I always like to do this series called Love It or List It. Whenever I go thrift shopping, I usually try to buy things with the intention of wearing it myself. But if I don't end up really loving it and holding on to it, I list it on Poshmark or Mercari. I also take a lot of old clothes that I no longer wear. I'm not an active, this is my job reseller. Instead, I just kind of sell what's around my house that I no longer use because it's kind of worth $0 doing nothing, not serving me anymore, or it could turn into money, and I use that to fund my shopping for the year. I try to kind of break even, but I did not do that this year specifically for my clothes shopping. And I talk about this more on Instagram too, which is to say just go follow me on Instagram. But I did do a lot of resale, like $1,200 in resale is no small piece. So it was really good to be able to make that much from reselling just stuff around the house. And I encourage you, if, even if you think something's worth nothing, one man's trash is another man's treasure. And yeah. Freelance. I earn $14,334. I'm a graphic designer. My 9 to 5 is just working for one single client, big tech, and doing, like landing pages and emails and social media ads. For freelance design work, I do more of that for usually smaller brands, but some bigger brands too, doing the exact same stuff that I do in my 9 to 5. So it really just translates very easily. I get all my freelance gigs word of mouth. People are always like, how do you do it? I do not use Fiverr or anything. Word of mouth. Cashback, I earned $2,794. And this is from everything from Rakuten, Honey, Dosh, all these like cashback apps, which I will link below, are so great. If you're already doing shopping, I cannot emphasize enough, you shouldn't go like out of your way to get 10% cash back using the Rakuten app. Yes, Sephora might be giving that back unless you have something to buy because you ran out of a makeup, then you don't really need to go shopping. And hashtag spent with intent. 2022, this is the year. But that being said, I was able to make a lot of money through cashback apps, through my credit card, my Citi Double Cashback card, which just gives me a straight 2% cashback for every transaction that I make. Yeah, it's been a good year for cash back. Interest, I earned $66 through my high yield savings accounts. And if you guys are subscribed to Millennial Money Honey, you will know that I invested a portion of my savings into I-bonds, though, because interest rates are so low right now, even for high yield savings accounts, only like 0.5%. And be sure to check out that I-bonds video. It's what I'm doing with a little bit of my money. And the interest rate on that is a locked 7.12% until April of this year, then they'll change it to adjust with inflation. And I know everybody's talking about inflation and how it's so high. So this made sense for me. Be sure to check out the video and see if it makes sense for you too. In dividends, I earned $4,369, with the majority of that being from my index funds. I invest probably 75% of my money in the US Total Stock Market Index Fund through Schwab. And for me, it's just very simple, very straightforward. Much as this is a money account, you'll be shocked, I hardly check my stocks. I don't know if the market's up or down unless I go on Instagram and people are freaking out about it. I really don't pay attention to that because I'm in it for the long term. The historic annual returns of the S&P 500 are 10%, so I'm really not worried about the market fluctuations on the day-to-day. So it's really cool to see that much dividends come into your account at the end of the year in December. Some people are not as bullish on dividends because you get taxed on them as ordinary income. It gets added to your income tax, versus capital gains taxes are taxed at a more advantageous rate. So keeping them in and then selling a stock that doesn't pay dividends sometimes could be more tax advantageous. So there are two kind of schools of thought on that, but I continue to invest in index funds, which pays out yearly dividends. I want to say, I'm not sure if it's like quarterly or just a single year-end dividend. All I know is when I looked at my account, I had thousands of dollars in dividends. In Millennial Money Honey, I earned $5,992, so almost $6,000. This, of course, is pre-tax, so I'll have to pay taxes on that, as well as the freelance work, that $14,000 come 2022. So that's kind of around $20,000 that I'm going to have to pay taxes on, which is similar to my taxes that I owed in 2021 for 2020. So I assume I'll be paying around the same tax amount, which is about like $4,000. And then in affiliate money, I earn $825. That's through links like my Bonsai app that I use to invoice all my clients, and Amazon affiliates, things like that. And other is $6,181. The majority of that being the small $5,000 windfall that I got from my grandmother who passed away. So bittersweet. For my 2021 expenses, housing and utilities was $0. As I was saying, I live at home with my parents. So I think the way they look at like gifting money is through the lens of not money itself, but things that are indirectly related to money, like gifting me my education or gifting me the luxury of living at home with them. And they are helping me with this goal of reaching financial independence. They are retired themselves. They've saved for retirement. I don't have to take care of them. And they really look at me saving on rent to be able to help me eventually buy a home myself. It's not money itself, but in a way it is because I'm just saving money. So very, very thankful to my parents for that. Transportation, $167. So Lyft and Ubers. Groceries, $812. Very low again because I live at home. Food, $3,235. I feel like that is a pretty hefty amount relative to all of my other expenses. And at first I looked at that number and I was kind of shocked and horrified. But again, that's a scarcity guilt mindset mode going into play. And I, really have to think, I enjoyed that. I love eating. I love, breaking bread with my friends and family, going out to eat, being able to pay for that. And yeah, sometimes I'm not going to lie, dropped a couple $100 on a meal. So do I regret that meal? Absolutely not. When I think about it when I look at it like in this lump sum, I'm like, oh, whoa, $3,000. But at the same time, those thinking back to the individual meals and the quality of food and everything about that experience makes me really happy. So I just, it's a constant reminder to have to be like, hey, don't worry about that. You spent with intent that meal and that brought you joy. So just keeping that at the forefront is going to be so important in 2022. Drinks, $188. I am so curious. I really wish I had the data on what I was like in my early 20s because God, I could easily spend that like in a weekend. This year, yeah, only $188. Work, $2,242. That includes like stuff for Millennial Money Honey. And I also looked at that and was like, whoa, that's kind of a lot. But at the same time, the money I spend on my work, I've made back. You can see like Millennial Money Honey made $5,992. So I was really able to bake back the expenses that I paid to put towards my business, to put towards my design work. And all of those things are almost like an investment in myself and in my business. So going into 2022, I'm setting up my business license and getting things all official just to get things like a little more solidified, because honestly, for a while, I was like, I don't know how long I am going to keep up with Millennial Money Honey. I haven't honestly kept up with a hobby this long in my entire life. I kind of jump from thing to thing. First, I had this like whimsical lifestyle DIY blog and just stuff that like I was trying out. And I think it's important to try things out like that. And when you're young and in your early 20s, you throw enough things at a wall, something will stick. And this has. I mean, I've been running this account for not my YouTube, but like Instagram. I've been kind of talking about money for the last 3 years. So I feel like it's time to get things in order. And I will make a whole video on that and the whole process, because it is honestly kind of like finances and very intimidating to file your business license and everything. So stay tuned for that. Recreation, $1,081. That's like entertainment type stuff, movies, going to amusement, the works. Travel, $3,599. I'm so happy that we were able to travel more this year, although, things are kind of getting crazy in the world again. But there was that brief like summer period where everything was kind of like opening up and things were looking up. And I was able to travel a little bit more. I did a trip to Sedona. I went to Hawaii twice this year with my family. I also went to my friend's wedding in Cabo. So it was a really great year. And I think this is a good kind of ballpark budget to have towards travel going into this next year too. Car, $635. Health, $800. Shopping, $2,338. About $1,600 of that went towards like clothes and like stuff of that nature. And in my reflections on that, I loved about $570 of what I bought. 960 were just like, like it's all right. I worn it 1 or 2 times, like it was cute and fun, but I don't love it. And then I regret about like $90 of that. So I'm really trying to increase my shopping purchases to be like more in the love category, like things I absolutely love. And that's why I'm doing the whole spend with intent, if you follow me on Instagram, forcing myself to buy something I really, really, really love every month and reflecting on the purchase as I get it. So in my monthly money videos, you'll probably now see the one item that I spent with intent on that I've thought about. I want to be able to look at that money and, have it not be a thing that I regret at all. I want it to be very purposeful and meaningful and intentional. If I end up spending like another $2,400 on things I absolutely love, I will be happy. The problem is like, I look at it now and I'm like, wow, I spent $1,000 on stuff that were like meh, or I regretted. And that is not where we want to be for 2022. So that's the thing I'm really trying to shift with my shopping spending. Gifts, $2,964. And then miscellaneous / additional business taxes was $4,346. So I didn't know really what to do about it, but like the taxes that I owed on my freelance stuff for last year, I paid this year, and that was like $3,300. So I kind of lumped that in there with the rest of the miscellaneous. I don't know if that's right, but since I don't really count my taxes otherwise, like my W-2 taxes, because I really never see it. So I don't really know if including that taxes here was smart, but I did. 2021 savings totals. 401k, I maxed it out this year, $19,500. If you guys are not aware, that contribution limit increased by $1,000 for the year of 2022. So the new limit, the maximum you can contribute to your 401k this year is $20,500. Just FYI, I hope I'm going to max it out, but I'm not really sure this year, since I may take time off of work for my corporate sabbatical. IRA, $6,000, and I will do that this year again. I may have made the mistake of contributing to a Roth IRA directly this year, and I'm not exactly sure. I need to wait till my W-2s come in, but I may not have been able to contribute directly to a Roth IRA because as a single filer, you can only contribute directly to a Roth IRA if you are under a certain income limit. I believe it's $124,000. It starts to phase out, and then once you hit $139,000 for your MAGI, which is modified adjusted gross income, you can no longer contribute directly to a Roth IRA, and you need to do a backdoor Roth IRA. So moving forward, I think I'm only going to do a backdoor Roth IRA. I'm going to talk to my CPA too. For my savings, I saved $16,000. Brokerage, I contributed $51,500. For my SEP IRA, I contributed $3,313 per my CPA's directive. I know it's a very specific number. And checking, I ended up with $4,594, which is just everything minus my income and expenses, and whatever was left over is just left in my checking. So in total, my income was $123,312. My expenses for the year, $22,406. And actually what I budgeted for FIRE is an annual spend of $40,000. So there's like this very, very big buffer because I anticipate having housing costs when I am retired. Imagine me living in my parents' house still. For savings, I'm so fortunate. I crossed the six-figure threshold at $100,907, giving me a savings rate of 82%. So yeah, that was my savings for the year. I think it was super helpful and insightful for me to look back at all of these categorical expenses and see what I was spending on and how I can shift and change my habits to reflect more the person that I want to be, the state of mind I want to be in for this year. Thank you guys so much for your continued support throughout the year 2021. I'm curious, what are your guys' money goals for the year 2022? I'm really so excited to just have a happier, healthier year with our finances as we all work towards financial independence and early retirement. I really believe we're all gonna make it. So if you guys like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to Millennial Money Honey, and hit the notification bell so you know when my next video drops, and let's all retire early together.